What is up, sports bettors? It is finally here. NFL Week 1 opening night. Thursday night football is tonight between the Bills at the Rams. Very, very exciting stuff. I'm sure you've seen a ton of content from us about this game, from me specifically, from Alex, ton of stuff about this game, but odds are constantly changing, which means that there are more valuable plays to make even leading up to the game locking in this morning. So in terms of official predictions for the game, before I get into my two player prop bets, what I love doing to check out the markets is just go to OddsJam.com, sports NFL, and then you can click into a game, and then it pulls up all of the main lines for the game. So money line, point spread, total points, very exciting stuff. Gives you kind of everything that sportsbooks are pricing it at. For my predictions for this game, I like the Rams money line. I think if you can get them at plus 120 on DraftKings, I think that's good. But my favorite bet for this one is the over 51.5. So those are just two high-level predictions. But in this video, I'll actually be locking in some player props. So some player prop best bets for you guys. Still using OddsJam to find these plays. Also using the OddsJam props app, which you see on the screen here. Let me enlarge it a little bit. So this is an app that we released during baseball season, but now during football season, it is just going to be amazing. The way it works is you see all these different stats here: completions, passing attempts, passing yards. These are all quarterback stats. But if you scroll down, if you keep going, there's interceptions, there's rushing attempts, there's rushing yards, there's running back, receiver stats as well. So if you want to look at Justin Jefferson, look at his stats, you can go to like receptions, and it'll give you what his reception line is priced at. So it looks like it's at 6.5. And then it'll give you how often he goes over that amount. So if you want to change it to under, you can. If you want to look at home versus away, so it looks like he performs significantly better at home. Now you wonder how much of that is just noise with depending on the matchups at home, but you could look at his receiving yards as well. All that stuff is very cool to just give. It's like another tool in your holster, tool in your tool belt, whatever you want to call it, for locking in player props and being confident in those player props. So I have two that I like a lot for tonight's game. Not this Josh Allen's passing touchdown one. While I do think it hits minus 160, I don't think it's worth it in case they randomly run in two from the 1 yard line or something. But this first one is Dawson Knox to go under 37.5 receiving yards. So I already have it up here on BetMGM. I guess I got to log back in. Now I would like to put a half unit on this one, $50. BetMGM has me limited, so we'll see what they actually let me get in. Unfortunately, I doubt I'll be able to get the full 50. So yeah, $5.70. A lot of money there. But for those of you at home, it's a half unit play, so initially would be $50. And the math behind it, so of course, it's positive expected value. Found it using OddsJam, the positive EV page. So the no-vig odds price this at about minus 118. The odds that we betted at on BetMGM were minus 115. So that gap between these two numbers is where you get your positive expected value from. In this case, equates to about a 1.16% positive EV play. This can also be viewed as your profit margin. So for every $100, you could figure to make $1.16. Understandably, not breaking the bank with this one bet individually, but I still do really like it. And I'm kind of locking these in to show that even the lower EV percents could still be good bets to take if you look into it a little more. So the market width is good. Check that box there. And then another thing, so there are two things that I like to do once I kind of look at the math. Number one, see what all the other books are pricing it at. So BetMGM has it at minus 115. You can kind of remove this PrizePicks 5 Flex because they offer minus 119 for everything. Same thing with Underdog. So the books that actually are pricing this market are Caesars, DraftKings, and Pinnacle, the OddsJam line. And they price it at minus 158, minus 130, minus 135. All pricing it significantly higher than what we got it at on BetMGM at minus 115. You can also open this in a new tab, and it'll pull up the market for every other book. So if they price it at different numbers, you can see. So if I go up to Dawson Knox, looks like FanDuel prices this at 35.5, so 2 yards lower. And BetOnline also prices it at 35.5, 2 yards lower. Also, FanDuel thinks the more likely scenario is that he goes under this number, under 35.5, and then BetRivers prices it at 34.5, so 3 full yards lower than what we got it at BetMGM. And Bet Rivers, ever so slightly, still thinks that the under is the more likely scenario. So you can gain a lot of valuable information, not only by looking at the odds for the specific play itself, but also the holistic betting market. And this one, I think, is really, really good. I wish I could put a half unit on it. And then, of course, look at the OddsJam props app. So I'm going to go type in Dawson Knox. So I want to look at his receiving yards. So it looks like, and we are betting on the under. So I want to change this to under. Looks like he hit the under this number in 9 of 17 games. So at about a 53% rate. So we got it at minus 115. Pretty similar to the minus 112 implied odds. But the fact that he hit this in the majority of the games does give me confidence in this one. So I think that this is a really good bet. If I could put more on it, I would. I can only put like $5.70, which is unfortunate. For those of you at home, would be a half unit play. The next one that I really liked is this Darrell Henderson receiving yards over 13.5, minus 101 on Caesars. So this one I should be able to get the full half unit on it. Let me see. Yeah, that one has been locked in, so we are good to go there. And similar logic here, it's positive expected value, a little bit lower percent at 0.15, but the no-vig line has it at minus 101. The market width is at 30, so it's still a tight market. And then looking at all the other markets, BetMGM has it at minus 115, but BetOnline thinks that the over is the more likely scenario. The OddsJam line, Pinnacle, has it slightly favoring the under, but at more of a 50-50 rate. And we're getting it at minus 101, clear outlier when you compare it to all the rest of the books. So again, you want to open this up in a new page, look at the other lines, the other markets. So looking at all the markets shows a similar good value that we got with the Dawson Knox one, except for FanDuel prices it a little bit lower at 11.5. So if you wanted to accept a little bit worse juice, a little bit worse odds, but a safer play, you could take this on FanDuel at minus 113 over 11.5. But the other books, PointsBet prices it at 15.5. Bet Rivers and Underdog price it at 14.5, above the number we got it at. And for numbers this low, like 13.5, getting it a full yard or 2 yards higher, it's really, really valuable. It means more with these lower totals. And then, of course, got to check the OddsJam props app. So I want to go to Darrell Henderson. I want to go to receiving yards. Looks like he hit this in 8 of 13 games, implied odds of minus 160. He also went down with an injury, and you can see a clear, stark contrast from when he was healthy versus when he wasn't healthy. So this year, Cam Akers is back from the torn Achilles, but he hasn't looked great. I think that Henderson, he's also a sleeper for me for fantasy. So for those of you who haven't had your fantasy drafts yet, I do like targeting Darrell Henderson late, but I also like his receiving yards to go over the number that we got it at, 13.5. So those are my 2 player prop bets to lock in for tonight's game. 2 half unit plays, looking at Darrell Henderson over 13.5 receiving yards and Dawson Knox under, if I could find it, under 37.5 receiving yards. Those are my 2 plays. So if you're tailing it, let me know. Would love to hear it. Make sure to click that subscribe button and subscribe to the OddsJam YouTube channel to continually get our picks for the whole NFL season. It's going to be very profitable. It's going to be very fun. But that's it. So I appreciate you guys watching, and have a good one.